What is up, YouTube friends? auburn-sports.com friends. Word. What's the latest? We got BP Rockman in the house. First one to say something today. For those of you who were on the brain drain the other night, you know that the levels were a little bit messed up. I was able to get the caller on eventually. Hey, Cleveland Brown, how you doing? I was able to get the callers on eventually. Cleveland Brown was actually one of our first callers that I couldn't get on. But the sound for the other folks is a little bit off, I think. So B-Matt's going to be obviously with us today. And if you guys think his levels are low or whatever, just holler at me in the chat. I can adjust it, I think, B-Matt.
All right.
I mean,
we'll give it a try.
I mean, I want you to be able to speak freely. Look at you, company man, with your Rivals hat.
Yeah, there you go. I have another Rivals hat that I wear when I walk sometimes, but it's all sweaty and yucky looking now.
It's not the one that you were wearing when you fell over.
This one's fresh, yeah.
Jeez.
Fresh cap.
All right, so things we can discuss today, Mr. Brian Matthews. We can talk about Tiger Talk. It was pretty good. He said they're going to play faster. Which kind of goes against what we were thinking would be the logical choice here, right? That they need to preserve the defense. Brian Penn says he heard you have low T levels, B-Matt. Those weren't the levels I was talking about, but we'll find out. Gus says when we're playing fast, we're better. At the same time, you have to be strategic, which at least means he realizes that maybe they shouldn't run full speed and go 3 and out all the time. I don't know.
I think they're going to go fast to start out of the gate for sure.
If they can.
Yeah.
He said the number one thing is making Burrow uncomfortable, which I think they have the personnel to do that.
He said that quite a few times this week. That's obviously, and they've got to pressure him up the middle. They don't have anybody that can come around the edge and get to him. He'll have all day to throw if they try to do that. So they're coming after him up the middle with Marlon and Derek.
I thought it was also odd that Andy asked if Gatewood would play. I was like, he's gonna play, right? No? Is there something I don't know?
I mean, maybe he'll come in for some short yardage stuff. I don't know.
Maybe. We don't have Booby. We'll talk about LSU's offense, LSU's defense. I did that PFF thing the other day, so I'll just use the same stats that I had for that because the stats hadn't changed. And we'll talk about their situation at nickel, LSU's nickel. They got some problems there. And we'll talk a little bit about hoops. That was a weird camera angle on the video yesterday because it was like you're a tall dude and it looked like you were shooting over somebody else. Were you just like standing over Tom Green?
You know how the scrum happens, and if you're behind the scrum, you're behind like 3 people. So,
yeah,
I was not up front, so I had to shoot over people.
You had to shoot.
I had to hold my phone out extended. It was fun.
Yeah,
enjoyed it. Thrilling. But yes, we can definitely talk hoops. I wrote one story, but there's a couple other stories in there too we can talk about.
Oh, there's no doubt. They're playing Eckerd. Eckerd. When I was a kid in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Eckerd was like the Walgreens, the CVS. We used to go to Eckerd and get shit. Thanks, Cleveland. I appreciate you letting me know on the levels. So
I remember Eckerd drugstore. I think we had one of those
up in Doraville.
Richway. Remember Richway? Did y'all have a Richway?
No, we had a Safeway though. Is it like a grocery store?
Richway was like a department store.
Oh, no. So we'll talk about the Eckerd exhibition, which is a week from today, right?
Yes, it is.
No doubt.
Oops.
And they're going to be playing Georgia Southern on November 5th to actually open the real season.
And I think they're playing Troy on Sunday, but I'm not 100% sure, so I don't want to put it out, in writing.
You talking about the scrimmage?
Yeah, the close scrimmage.
I mean, are we allowed to go?
No.
Come on, man. You don't think I could talk my way in?
We're not even allowed to talk about it or write about it.
That doesn't mean we can't go.
Yeah.
I'd like to see this team play a little bit so I know what I'm talking about,
Be nice.
All right, so we'll get this bad boy started. I guess I'm going to be doing the shout-outs. I'm surprised, dude, because I thought there were some easy ones for you to pick up.
I've been lax.
I just unbanded Bassman. I had to ban him. He went crazy in that Snowden thread.
Oh, I see. I missed this whole Snowden thread somehow. I hate that I missed the insanity.
Yeah, I had to ban him.
I don't understand why he's a current topic though. I mean, with everything going on in the political world right now, why is Snowden a topic?
Well, because he was on Joe Rogan's podcast and he was talking about a lot of the things that he was searching for. When he was infiltrating. He wasn't really infiltrating. He was part of the intelligence community at the time, but I personally see him as a traitor, like an American traitor, like a bad guy. But, whatever. It was definitely a political thing, and
Right.
And some people that were involved in that thread did not think it was political and actually wanted to kind of fight about it. And I get kind of tired of that.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, for the year, who's your favorite racehorse?
I couldn't name you a racehorse this year.
Who you picking to win the Breeders' Cup? Classic.
Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit. Hey, B-Man, I got something for you.
All right.
Look.
Ooh, it looks like it might be a credential to get into LSU Tiger Stadium. Hopefully there's two in there.
Yeah, we're going to open it here together. You ready?
Oh, boy, this will be exciting.
Ooh, take it off.
Actually, it wouldn't be a credential, just be a parking pass, right?
Yeah, I believe this is a parking pass.
Cool.
It
looks like the rain is going to clear out in time for the game tomorrow.
Is that good or bad?
Well, I don't know that it necessarily matters that much for Auburn. I guess rain might hold down LSU's passing attack a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah, parking pass for sure. I was just curious to see if it was in the same place it was before.
But I'm sure the visiting fans would appreciate not having to stand out there in rain all day.
Oh, I forgot. You were over by the they moved us last time we were there. We're on the other side of the tracks. Over by their softball stadium now. Remember we used to be over there where they partied?
Yeah, oh yeah, we were in the big fields out there, and we walked right through all their tailgates on the way to the stadium.
That was a lot of fun. All right, so I've got your parking pass here.
Cool.
Looking forward to seeing you this afternoon, big boy.
We'll be there.
You and young Nate.
Yep.
All right, here we go. We're about to tape this bad boy. Also, word to all the folks on the chat. I will try to answer your questions as we move along if you have some. I want to say what up to Drew. I want to say what up to Ryan. And, of course, Webb in the house. Appreciate you, Webb. Oh, I got to thank Amy Cotney today, too. Our newest and latest. Glad to have Amy on board.
Hello, Amy. Thank you for sponsoring us.
Presenting the camera eye. A U-Taxman in the house as well. Hi-yo! Hello again and welcome to the auburn-sports.com rundown presented by Voodoo Wing Company. This right here, this very show is your favorite podcast for all things Auburn. Today is Friday, October 25 in the year of 2019. 2 months short of Christmas, B-Man. This is episode number 415 of this fine program, and we are currently 1 day away from Auburn's encounter with the hated Bayou Bengal Tigers from LSU. This game will be contested in Baton Rouge, which has been a house of horrors for the Tigers. No wins there since 1999. This will be televised on CBS beginning at 2:30ish Central Time. My name is Jay Tate. I am publisher of auburn-sports.com. And I'm joined by Mr. Brian Matthews, capital B, capital M, our Ace Team reporter, and a man who everyone knows is a doer of many things. B. Matt Word.
What's going on?
Usual.
I'm just getting ready to pack my bags and head to Baton Rouge. Should be a nice, sunny, beautiful afternoon at Tiger Stadium, where Auburn's had a ton of success here in the last 20 years.
Yeah, not as much, right?
Nope.
Were you there for the cigar game?
I was in the stands, yes.
Did you smoke a cigar?
Didn't have any with me, no.
You're not a cigar guy, are you?
No. I've smoked a few in my day, yes.
I'll tell you a place I've seen you smoke a few hot-ass wings, the Voodoo Wing Company, where you put that bomb in your mouth 2 weeks ago.
I did.
You did not.
And I had hot instead of medium.
I know, that was awesome. I was glad to see that. You were experimenting a little bit.
And they weren't like, they were fine.
I mean, you think you'll do that again?
Maybe, yeah. I like the Voodoo, though. The Voodoo is still my favorite by far.
For those of you who are not familiar, Brian doesn't like the hot, spicy stuff, but it's cool. Because when you go to Voodoo, you can get a whole bunch of different flavors.
I like it hot, just not overwhelmingly hot.
Yeah, bomb's a little... It's a little hot, yeah.
I like to go to Flavortown, JG.
Is that a suburb of Pound Town?
I mean, sometimes you go to Flavortown you go to Movie Town, and then you go to Pound Town. If it's a good night, right?
I think that sounds like a fine trip. I would enjoy it myself. When you go to Voodoo Wing Company, you're going to a place that serves delicious chicken, fried chicken. You can get the buffalo wings. You can get them traditional. You can get them boneless. You can get them in one of their savory flavors, many of them made from scratch there on site. You can also get the fries, the slaw, the fried pickles, the potato salad, and, of course, B-Matt's favorite, the nanner pudding for dessert. I know you love it.
Which I had some Tuesday, and it was delicious.
I saw you enjoying it over there. They also have the key lime that I enjoy, and I know Jay Lee had a little bit of that the other day, so God bless that kid. If you guys are in Auburn, check out Voodoo Wing Company if you haven't already. They're on College Street, just a little bit north of where the Supper Club once stood on your way into town, off of Exit 51. And you can check them out on the website at voodoowingco.com. Brian Matthews, Tiger Talk last night was not exactly a roar, although there were some guffaws, believe it or not.
Well, he's always exciting when you bring him into the studio.
He has really actually truly been better this year, better than I thought he would be. And that surprises me.
Very likable.
Very or just likable?
No, very likable to me. Yes, very.
Interesting.
Yep.
Gus said that they're going to play faster, and when we're I'm going to try to do it in his voice. When we're playing faster, we're better. At the same time, you got to be strategic. So we have talked before on the Tuesday podcast, the Wingcast, so as it is. That I think they need to pay pretty close attention to how many defensive snaps they have to defend. I mean, you want to keep the defense off the field as much as possible against this LSU team. You don't want them out there for 80 plays, which I think means you got to have a corresponding change in the way that you call plays on offense to try to stay on the field and burn some clock. I don't know if what Gus said last night on Tiger Top really means that he's paying attention to that, B-Matt. I wonder about that.
Well, I think he wants to get off to a fast start offensively. That's when they've been at their best, like he says. I think if we get in the second half and it's, a game where they need to slow it down, I think he will. But I'd be very concerned when that happens because Auburn doesn't operate well when he does that. And I can remember 2 years ago when he just tried to slow it down and ran 17 straight running plays. That didn't work out too well for him.
No, he did get a little maybe too conservative on that one.
Yeah.
He has spoken many times about how that was a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And, but he called the plays. No, I'm sorry. It was Chip, right?
Oh, well.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He also made an interesting reference to the fact that they had too many checks. He's told us that privately. I don't remember if he said that in a press conference or not, but he said that they had too many checks at Florida, and they worked on that, got it corrected for the Arkansas game, and then they're going to go into this game with the continued streamlining effect, maybe of not overwhelming Bo. I think that Gus feels like Bo was overwhelmed with checks at Florida, not necessarily overwhelmed by the environment or the pressure of the game. Do you buy into that?
A little bit, but I think the noise, which would be the environment of the game, really affected him and the whole offense. So I think it was more than just the checks. I think the noise contributed to him not being able to do his checks. I would be a little concerned about, the quote-unquote simplifying the offense. I think it's probably the right thing to do, but I think LSU is probably going to throw a lot of different things at Auburn defensively. And, you might see some really quick 3-and-outs if they do that, and Auburn doesn't have a good solution to whatever they're doing.
Yeah, quick 3-and-outs. You got to avoid those, man, like the plague down there, because LSU will kill you if you keep doing that. But we'll see. The thing about it for me is I know we're all in agreement that DJ Williams needs to get carries, and he represents their best hope. But if you need to grind the clock out, I don't see anybody, including DJ, that I think you would feel comfortable grinding the ball out the way that you would with Booby. I mean, there's been several times this season you just hand the ball to Booby and he gets you 3 or 4 yards, and you can just kind of ride that.
Well, I see the thing with that is I don't feel comfortable with Booby because I think he's too fumble prone to feel comfortable with. He did a great job against State, and he deserves credit for it. But I would say DJ is just unproven. I'm not saying he can or can't do it. I just think he hasn't shown it yet.
Yeah, it reminds me of John Cougar Mellencamp said, "You're not as green as you are young." Think about that, huh?
Wow, how about that?
Working a John Cougar Mellencamp reference in there. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Gus made several references again, and Brian in the pre-show made reference to the fact that he's been talking about this nonstop all week, that they need to make Joe Burrow uncomfortable. Every time Andy and not Andy were trying to say last night on the show defensively, what are you trying to do? Blah, blah, blah. He would just be like, it just comes down to making Joe Burrow uncomfortable. And Auburn definitely has some players that can do that. I mean, Marlon Davidson's been playing it at an obscenely high level. Derek Brown is the top-rated interior defensive lineman in the country this year, according to Pro Football Focus. So they have some really good players. But the question is, B-Matt, can they bring the power off the edge to try to get to Burrow?
I mean, they can bring power, but it's not enough speed, most likely. I think they're going to have to flush him up the middle and try to get to him that way. Try to slow down his reads, maybe bring an extra guy sometimes and try to take away the quick throws if you can and take some chances. Auburn plays really aggressive in the secondary, and I think they're going to do the same, and they probably get burned a couple of times. But, if they can get to Burrow, get him in a little bit of a bad funk, have him making mistakes, maybe they can get that to carry on throughout the game.
Yeah, defending this LSU team is not going to be easy. Joe Burrow, not only is he a good passer, William Taylor giving me love for the John Cougar Mellencamp reference. Appreciate that, bro. Not only can Joe Burrow throw the ball really, really well, he makes great decisions, but he moves around in the pocket well. He doesn't get frittered the way that Bo Nix does. And Joe Burrow may have been doing that when he was Bo Nix's age. Who knows? He's just a very savvy and very good quarterback.
And he'll hang in there and take a hit to make a throw, too.
He will. And he'll even sacrifice his pants if he's got to. I mean, I feel like he proved that at Mississippi State. He also has an incredible group of wide receivers: Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall's going to be back for this game, 100%. Those three are absolutely filthy, each one of them. And they have their fourth wideout is a guy named Racy McMath. Unbelievable name, man. That is a great name for really anybody, but a wideout, Racy McMath.
Wow.
He's fast and smart.
So they always have a fleet of NFL receivers over there. It's just,
right. You're right.
Amazing, really.
I don't know. I mean, I guess Louisiana just grows them, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's where Duke Williams came from. He was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, talent, that's for sure.
Yeah, he was good, man. I feel like you're trying to work in some kind of an equestrian joke here. No?
No, I just didn't get the most of his talent, but maybe he's turned it around a little bit now in the, getting some playing time in the pros.
Well, everybody deserves a chance to turn things around.
Yep.
Brian, I'm sorry that you want to sit there and judge everybody because you're so perfect.
No, I'm not perfect.
I'm just kidding. You're actually a real good dude. Better than me. LSU, let's start talking about this LSU team since we're already doing it. And the only thing I had left about Tiger Talk was Andy asked a weird question about, is Gatewood going to play? Which I was like, of course he's going to play. Why are you asking that? And I couldn't tell if Andy was just riffing off the previous question, which is just kind of about, are you going to play all your tailbacks? Are you going to continue developing guys? But I thought it was a weird question. And then Gus was like, yeah, he's part of the plan. Plan to play him. So, okay. I don't know. I was thinking about doing a camera eye this afternoon about an inside run that Joey had where he got 7 yards, but he should have gotten 17 yards. And I can't decide if the bunker can handle it or not. I mean, it wasn't a bad read. It was just the play was blocked better if he would have done what he was supposed to do. But I don't know. Sometimes people get rustled over stuff like that. All right, looking at LSU. Offensively, as we mentioned, Joe Burrow is, I believe, the top-rated, according to Pro Football Focus, the top-rated quarterback in all of Bowl Subdivision or Division I, whatever you want to call it. So we're talking about a guy who's a true beast, who moves around, who throws the ball well, who can run. I don't think of him as a runner per se, but he's a lot like Bo. I mean, he can get away from some dudes. And they've got to find a way to, as Gus said, make him uncomfortable. We know Marlon can do that. We know Derek can do that. We're relatively sure that Tyrone Truesdale can get some of that done too. But as you mentioned, getting something on the outside as far as pass rush, you're going to be looking at TD, you're going to be looking at Big Cat. Or maybe there's some other things, some blitzes, some nickel blitzes. Sometimes he'll pull an Igbenogany as a blitzer. I just don't know if you can take on a lot of chances because LSU has so many weapons.
They do, but you got to take chances. I mean, this is not a game. I don't think Auburn can just line up and play, straight up, simple stuff and expect to win. I think they've got to try to shake things up, get into his head a little bit, make him have to think about things, take an extra half second or just whatever it takes to sort of break his rhythm a little bit.
Because if you leave him comfortable, he will tear that ass up. He's done it before, and he'll do it again. Again, terrific wideouts, as we mentioned earlier. And I like their tailback. I got to make sure I get this name right. Edwards Hilaire? Yeah.
Sounds about right.
He kind of looks like Sean Shivers. He's like kind of a little short dude, but he likes to run inside. He's a physical runner, even though he's not a big dude. And they show a very strong tendency. They like to go through the A gaps is their number one point of target. They also like to go right. They do not like to go left, and they don't run well left. So just something to keep an eye on in that game.
They do a good job of using the pass to set up the run, which is the opposite of most teams, and it works really effectively.
Yeah, that's kind of an old school concept. That's like air raid ideology. Yeah. They don't run air raid, but it's just kind of an air raid attitude. And they could definitely run the football when they need to. And that dude, he's pretty tough. I think their backup tailback is I think his name is Tyrion.
I have no idea.
Not Tyrion Lannister, but
he'd be a good one.
Tyrion something or other. I'm sorry, I'm not big on the backup tailbacks at LSU. Their offensive line's been solid. They've had some turnover at left tackle. They have a dude named Sadiq Charles that they really like, but he's been in trouble, and he's sometimes available and sometimes not. They started the true freshman Dare Rosenthal in the game against Mississippi State the other day, and he graded out really well. So I reckon they're going to roll with him. But, of course, if you're Kevin Steele and you know they've got a true freshman at tackle, I would think you're going to try some trickiness.
Absolutely. Got to pressure him, try to use that inexperience maybe in the big game he'll be in to maybe take advantage of that a little bit.
Their overall team grades were insane for a while there. Of course, they were playing some kind of garbage teams, but Northwestern State, they were so good. Vanderbilt, which is kind of a weird game. Vanderbilt scored 38, but that wasn't all against the LSU defense. I think there were some turnovers. So it was kind of a misnomer. They crushed Utah State. They crushed Florida. I mean, they played really well against Florida. This last game against Mississippi State was kind of odd. It was 7-9, I think, or 7-9 or 7-6 in the second quarter, and then LSU just kind of pushed it out. Second half of the second quarter, boom. Third quarter, boom, and then they just kind of shut it off in the fourth. But I don't know. Mississippi State did some things kind of bother them a little bit on the offensive end the other day, and I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Kevin Steele sees some tips.
You look what Auburn did against Arkansas, scoring 4 touchdowns on 5 possessions there in the third and fourth quarter. LSU is capable of doing that against Auburn. If they start getting on a roll, if Auburn lets them feel comfortable. So that's something they just got to look out for.
Taking a look at LSU's defense, you can see more about this on the Know the Enemy piece that Hunter Adams has on the front of our site at auburn-sports.com. He has a lot of detail about personnel and things they like to do. We're kind of giving you a little bit of an overview on this show. They play a lot of 3-4 looks, and they have an incredible zero-tech nose tackle type player, Tyler Shelvin, their highest graded player on defense, and one of the highest graded nose tackles in the country. He doesn't give you much pass rush, but if you look at him, he's a mountain of a man, and he makes the A-gaps a perilous choice for run lanes.
Well, they haven't been a great choice for Auburn to begin with. We know why, and that's just something to be concerned with offensively. They're going to have to avoid that area.
They're going to have to – first of all, Caleb Kim ain't no way he's going to get movement against that dude by himself, so they're going to have to do some ace blocks up there and try to help him. And that's fine, but when you start doing those double-team blocks, it almost makes you have to do inside zone running because of the way you're allocating your blockers. And Auburn needs down blocks against these guys. They don't need to do other stuff. So they need to run wide, and I don't really know how you're going to do that. They have another good tackle, Neil Farrell, who's been really good. He's a 3-tech or a 3-I, as Gus was referring to them last night. He's graded out at 81.3 this season on PFF, which is really good. Marlon Marlon's at like 90. Derek Brown's at like 91.5. So that gives you an idea. Neil Farrell's down from that, but he's still really good. Anything over 80 is really good, I think, on defense. They have some good linebackers, although I don't necessarily think of them as very good in pass coverage. You know the way that like Papo and Jacoby are pretty good in pass coverage, B-Matt. I don't know as though they have guys like that, but they will absolutely fit a run, and they will come downhill and hit a man in the mouth. And their run defense is absolutely filthy. And they're number one in the SEC in yards per carry conceded. They're at like 2.9.
So you're talking about the best run defense in the SEC against one of the best, the best running offenses in the SEC.
Statistically.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You and I have questions about Auburn's ability to run the football against a really good defense, or specifically a good run defense.
Yeah, it'll be tested. I mean, that'll be a big part of the game. I think Gus has said us a few times they have to be able to run to be successful. So, I mean, he says every week that we're a run play action team, right? So, and his offense sort of just totally stagnates when they can't run. I mean, he just loses his mind sometimes.
He's got to have. I keep thinking he's going to have some kind of a different idea about how to attack this, because if he goes in there and runs 6 or 7 inside zones with Cam Martin or Malik or whatever he's going to do, because that's what's going to happen to start with. He'll have a couple glitzy plays, but then he'll be like, let's run Indy. And when it gets stuffed, there's got to be some kind of a different idea instead of we'll just run DJ. It's going to have to be Schwartz. It's going to have to be Shivers in some kind of role that he can actually do, because Shivers is a straight-ahead runner. He ain't this shifty dude that's going to make people miss in the hole. I mean, it's just not who he is. They're going to have to find a way to get Schwartz or Seth involved in the run game or something. I don't know. Need somebody with some shake to make a man miss and get into the second level, and I don't know what they're going to do. But there's some ideas in there. I do want to mention LSU's secondary, to me, is a little bit of an underperforming group. Everybody says, Grant Delpit's this awesome player, and he's certainly a terrific athlete and a guy that had a lot of good things being said about him in the preseason.
Right. A lot of preseason honors, yeah.
But statistically, I mean, you look at the grades, he's been solid but not awesome. He's missed way too many tackles. And they have some issues at cornerback. Derek Stingley's been awesome, true freshman. Christian Fulton has been awesome as well. But the problem is at a nickel. They have a guy named Kerry Vincent that plays nickel, and he has been absolutely atrocious this year, particularly against the pass. And I think they really want to make a change there, but they don't really have it. They have 2 really good cornerbacks, and they use them at cornerback. And so when they want to move Vincent out, they're going to have to move one of their cornerbacks to nickel, and then they're moving another cornerback into the spot that Fulton vacated, which at this point is a freshman in Cordell Flott, who's been injured a little bit, and he's a true freshman, and they've just played him like 6 snaps against Mississippi State. So I don't know.
Former Auburn commit, right?
I don't remember that. That's a Jay Lee question for me. But they're good. They're just not quite as good maybe on the back end as they are on the front end. So that's the thing that kind of weirds me out, B-Matt, is that if you're going to go into this game relying on Bo Nix to make a bunch of hairy throws to get you out of this game, I just don't see how it's going to work.
Yeah, he's from Saraland, committed to Auburn, and then flipped to LSU. And I think Auburn was okay with that at the time, but we'll see.
Interesting
little subplot there.
Michael Parker on the chat says, don't tell Gary Danielson about the Delpit stuff. I know, man. I'm not trying to shit on the kid. I'm just saying, like, I don't think he's performed at an All-American level this year, but he's been good. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's fine.
So if Auburn puts Seth and Anthony on the outside, right, who do they try to match up against the nickel on the inside?
Well,
who gives them the best opportunity to make plays there?
Well, if you saw last week, so they've got Schwartz going full portable now, where he can do 9.25, and he actually scored his second touchdown. Well, I know he scored the post fade out of the slot. So my thought is they could get Schwartz kind of motioned into the slot and get that matchup right there. I mean, I think he could tear that dude's butt up. If it is Kerry Vincent, if it's Christian Fulton, then you need to kind of rearrange and consider who you're going to attack, because that dude's elite cover guy. And Stingley, too. So they got to play mix and match a little bit, but running into the teeth of this LSU defense through the A-gap, I can almost guarantee it's not going to work. I'm assuming they know that.
I'm pretty wrong there, JJ.
Yeah, 17 times. We'll keep doing it till we get it through. I mean, all right. You know how Gus is. So anyway, the game's at 2:30 on CBS. I'm surprised that the line is as big as it is. I think Auburn is 12-point underdog in that one. And, yeah, that's a big one, I think, for a team at Auburn ranked number 8. Really only had one misstep, and that was at Florida, and that was a game that you could argue they were pretty much in that game, you know?
Yeah, until that last little run there, right?
Yeah.
And the offensive ineptitude kept it from being a much, much better game. I know, I mean, I would expect this game to be fairly tight. I do. I just, all week, I've just got the feeling from Auburn's players and coaches that this game is so big to them, and they are so prepared and so motivated for it, they're going to play well. I don't think that necessarily means they're going to win, but I'd just be surprised if Auburn went out there and laid an egg.
Yeah, I don't, because the defense just doesn't lay an egg. Right. So if the offense flounders and they don't get it going, I mean, it's not like the defense is just going to give away points, I don't think.
Right. I do think this is a bad matchup. This in Alabama is a tougher matchup for Auburn's defense because they're not built to handle these passing teams as well as, more balanced or more run-heavy teams. But I still think they're going to have they're going to have some moments in this game.
Yeah. Collins in the chat says we've been hiding Wee Willie just for this purpose. He may be the secret weapon, Brian Matthews.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, I thought he was miscast as an outside guy. I think he belongs in the slot. I think he belongs running those options routes and doing him with the RPOs. I think that's where he fits. That's where Bo fits. So let's see it.
Oh, Project Class is pretty funny too. All right. Moving on a little bit, I want to talk about basketball. The Fighting Bruce Pearls have been practicing for like 3 weeks now as a team. They have their first exhibition game against Eckerd College a week from today. I mean, if you're hyped up for basketball, bro, it's time.
Yep.
It is time. You spent some time talking with Lord Bruce Pearl and also Javon McCormick yesterday over at the arena. General thoughts, what you took away from that, and how ready this team is to ball it up.
Well, one thing that stood out to me was he talked again about Isaac Okoro. I mean, unprompted again, because I was like, this is the question I asked him. I said, you talked a lot about Isaac and Turbo and Stretch. Is there any other newcomers that have really stepped up and shown they're going to be part of the rotation? The first guy he talks about again is Isaac. And one thing he said was he thinks, number one, that Isaac's been playing in the backcourt at the 3 the whole time. And he thinks Isaac, Javon, and Samir is going to be the best defensive backcourt he's ever had.
Wow.
So that's pretty impressive. But then that makes me wonder how they're going to do the 4 and the 5. Is it going to be Anthony and Austin, or is it going to be D'Angelo and Austin? Who's going to be that 6th man there?
Wait, so he said Samir is part of the best defensive backcourt he's ever had?
Yeah, he thinks that can be part of it.
I mean, not that Samir's a bad defensive player. He's just kind of an opportunistic player. I mean, he's a jump a passing lane and tip a ball guy. I don't think him as a great on-ball defender the way that Bryce was.
Well, that's what he thinks.
No, his opinion matters for sure.
Yep.
So, yeah, your expectations for this team in general. I mean, Final Four is a little heady, I think, but they have some pieces. B-Matt, like you mentioned, Okoro. If he ends up being a stud, that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, and I think this is a team that is an NCAA team, most likely, a team that'll compete, a team that's going to be. Have its ups and downs. I don't know how it's going to look with this inside-out game with Austin. I just don't know. Is he going to be a really good passer out of there? How many turnovers a game is he going to have? A lot or not many? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be dominant. Maybe he'll be able to, make good passes when he's double teamed out of there. Maybe it'll look great. But they haven't run this type of offense the whole time, so this is going to be sort of brand new stuff.
Yeah. I still believe they're going to try to run. Even though
I do too, but I think if the transition doesn't work, they're gonna set up and run that half court with Austin being the centerpiece.
That's where you're really going to miss Jared. He was such a magician in transition.
Yeah.
And
what do they do when that shot clock gets down to 7 or 8 seconds? I know always what they did, and it was pretty successful last year.
Yeah, they gave it to Chuma.
Or Jared
Bryce.
just ran down the clock and drove and did something.
Or that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you were kind of a bigger supporter of Javon than I was. Not that, and you were right, because in the tournament he was just nuts. He was getting so much better.
Yeah.
You just have to hope that wasn't a mirage if you're Bruce Pearl, because if he can't help you a lot, it's not like Ty's going to be able to help a lot either. I don't know. I mean, he's quick.
Yeah.
Turbo Jones is built a lot more like Jared, and I think he has strengths that are a lot more like Jared because he's a transition dude, gets out really fast, but I don't know if you'd want a true freshman running the point. I mean, Jared Harper was kind of a mess as a freshman. You guys may not remember that.
Yeah, I mean, you can expect some freshman mistakes from Turbo and Isaac. They're going to have turnovers. They're going to, look a little sloppy out there at times.
Yeah.
This is, you got 8 newcomers on this team, so it's not going to be smooth sailing. Yeah,
it's not. It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
And I think that was the point of your story the other day about we need to get exposed. He wants his team to get beat up so that they can kind of figure out how to fix it.
He knows the best way to get this team to improve is have them fail at some things.
Yeah.
And see it for themselves.
Hell, it happened last year. I mean, I really think like a lot of people have forgotten that Auburn had a really rough stretch, man. Prior to
we were talking about them maybe possibly being out of the tournament at one point.
Yeah,
or having to really play well to get in.
when they got crushed at Rupp Arena by a Kentucky team that I didn't think was super awesome. I mean, and they got just drilled, and I thought, this isn't going to work. And then, buddy, they got it working. I think that was a wake up call for them.
Yep.
It happens sometimes too. All right, let's go through a few shout outs. B-Matt is without today.
I'm over.
He is barren, as we like to say, but not me. I've got a few, just because I've been rabble-rousing on the bunker here for a few days. Really, really clever. I got to give Harvey Specter credit for this. So Nate posted his story this morning about football or whatever in the LSU game. Harvey Specter's proposed headline was "Do or Die, DUE." Very, very clever headline. That's like a potential award-winning headline right there, in my opinion. So big ups to Harvey Specter right there. Also want to give a shout-out to Doc Dumpsta, who lost a bet with Cooked W, whom he refers to as Cookie, over the game last week, and he had to speak or type in the Queen's English all week. And Doc Dumpsta has been doing that. He has almost completely eschewed his usual lingo for a more standard lexicon, and I want to give him credit for owning up to his debt, because some people on the bunker don't always come through on their debts. I don't want to name any names. You guys know who I'm talking about. Somebody said he couldn't feed his baby if he had given the money that he owed to Farm Data, but I'm not going to go into names. So anyway, Doc Dumpsta, shout out, and also Cooked W for actually being cool about the bet that he won. And he was trying to offer Doc Dumpsta a way out to not have to do this the whole week, but Doc Dumpsta, he held firm on that. Also want to welcome Bull back. Bull was out for a little while with a health scare, and we love Bull, obviously, one of our great posters. Welcome back. And also thinking of CJ3131, who we know as Papa Bear, who's been in the hospital as well, feeling a little bit under the weather. We hope you get better. Get back as soon as you can, Papa Bear. I mean, he's been posting a little bit, but I know he's not feeling quite 100%. In your thread from yesterday, I believe, about how Pearl wants his team to get exposed in these early games, Benjamin responds, "When I see exposed, I'm expecting a full frontal nude shot of Lord Bruce. Now I'm disappointed." Brian, you're letting down your subscribers.
Yeah, I'll get to work on that.
I also want to give a shout out to Bassman. I mentioned in the pre-show on YouTube, if you were watching that he got banned. He has since been released. He is out of Chile now, but one of the things I really enjoy as a moderator, I don't like getting into these fights with people about politics and, why did you take that post down, or why did you take action against me, and people want to cry about it. The proper criminals out there, the people that make a small mistake and I have to get on them, and they're cool about it, and they say, "Hey, man, my bad. I shouldn't have done that." That's what most people do, and I just want to say thank you to people like that who, when they make a small mistake, they just say, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. I won't do it again." And they don't freak out, and they don't quit, and they don't threaten to quit. They just say, "Hey, man, it's all good." That's what Bassman did. A lot of people do that too, but I just want to say thank you for being a proper criminal. Also, Alaska Tiger, this one kind of baffled me. Alaska Tiger called into our post-game show last week, our first call, obviously, from Alaska.
Right.
And he had kind of an interesting delivery. I mean, I don't know how to describe him. Maybe a little squirrely. Certainly a little bit older, maybe. And so he starts a thread. He says, "I need to know how to get JG Tate's cell phone number. I need to send him a text." So you can guess how this went. Everybody gave like every possible 1-900 porn number possible.
Oh, God.
But Mike CB22 offered 334 icy tips. That one made me laugh. I sincerely hope Alaska Tiger did not call the numbers that were offered up in that thread, because the FBI is going to be at his house within an hour, I promise you.
Oh.
BP says, "Everyone knows it's rice you're talking about." Way to blow it, buddy. Way to ruin it for him. He eventually did pay his debt, so I didn't want to rag on him too much. It just took a lot of coaxing, that's all. All right, B-Matt, you don't have anything else to add?
No, that's it, man.
I just want you to know that, first of all, I love you. I think you do a great job. I want you and young Nate to drive safely down there.
We will. We'll see you later on this afternoon.
Into Bayou Country. Yes, you're going to stop by the compound here so I can get you this parking pass, bro.
We're staying in Gulfport, and we're eating tonight at the, what is it, the Blowfly Inn, I think it's called.
That's pretty
It
good.
was on. It was on Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. So,
Do you consider Guy Fieri trustworthy?
I don't watch the show because of him. I just love like local, out of places that you just find in different towns. I just love that type of food. That's where I want to eat anytime I go somewhere.
It's like a running joke with my wife and I, like when we're watching that show, and I do, it is entertaining, but everywhere he goes, he's like, oh, so good.
I know.
Like before when he takes the first bite, my wife and I always go, he's going to love it. He loves it. Oh my gosh, the crispiness of the grains and the saltiness of the like. Okay, I understand eating food is not necessarily something that you need to write a lot of words about. It's just like it's good or it's not. I don't know. I want to give a shout out to our friends at Voodoo Wing Company. Thank you to Michael, Jen, Jenna, Marge, the whole crew over there at Voodoo for their support of what we do here at the Rundown. Also a shout out to our friends at Lynch Toyota of Auburn. If you're looking for a new or used Toyota vehicle, check them out. They're in Auburn, just a little bit south of the interstate off the College Street exit 51 in the West Pace Auto Mall. As I've mentioned many times, Paul Brockwell, who is the general manager over there, runs a tight ship with some really, really good guys working for him and gals. So give them a chance to earn your business if you're in the market for a car. Also want to welcome Amy Cotney, local Auburn area realtor, to the team. She is presenting the Camera Eye now, and you can check out on the Camera Eye stuff. I've got a couple banners in there, and you can you get to her website at sweethomeauburn.al.com. She buys and sells real estate in Auburn and all the way over to Lake Martin. So if you're in there, Lee County, Tallapoosa County, maybe northern Elmore County, there you go. Check out Amy's stuff. She would love a chance to earn your business for sure. So we're going to let it wrap there, B-Matt.
All right, sounds good.
If you guys are going to go down to Baton Rouge, please drive safely. Party responsibly. Sometimes the people down there can be a little rowdy.
It can be.
A little raucous. I once saw the Tiger Tail van on fire down there. I felt like I was in Beirut.
But if you find the right ones, they'll invite you to the tailgate, and you can have all the drinks and Cajun recipes you want.
Yeah.
So you just never know.
They have been pretty giving. I've had a few beers on the way back to the car. Can't lie about that. I don't have a problem with LSU people. It's the Georgia people that I've had problems with.
Yeah.
They've been kind of jerky. But we'll talk about that another day.
They're a little backed up since 1980, JG. It's really tough on them.
1980 is a great year, man. Let's see, Empire Strikes Back came out. 9 to 5 came out. Man, it feels like so long ago, doesn't it? Jeez.
It does.
Whew. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you for listening to our show. If you are a subscriber at auburnsports.com, just remember that we love you. If you're not a subscriber, become a subscriber, and then we'll love you. It's that simple. Until we see you next time, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
Oh, yeah.
What about that one, B-Matt? 35 minutes.
Smooth.
Let me see if there are any questions here in the chat. I'm sorry I had to kind of get those shout-outs done. I got to kind of read. I can't see the chat as well. Brandon wants us to know that Jared Harper had 2 NBA minutes in his first game. Yes, that was awesome for him. In a rare Suns victory, or at least what used to be rare. I don't know. Maybe they're going to be better this year. Colin says Blowfly used to crank out some good tunes. B-Matt, are you familiar with that group, Blowfly?
No, I'm not.
I don't know if that's a joke or not. I'm sorry, dude. I don't get it. William Taylor wants you to have a safe trip, you and young Nate. That's very
Thank
nice. You. Chipper says he just wants Auburn to make the NCAAs, and he's good as far as basketball goes.
I think that's about what they're going to do. Yeah.
And just get in there is like, what, a 4, 5, 6, 7, something like that?
Yeah.
BP Rockman says, I think basketball will struggle, but will make the dance. If they get some good chemistry, they could do a little better than 500 in conference. You remember the days when 500 in conference would be like, holy shit, can you believe that actually happened?
Raise a banner. Yeah, I can remember those days, yes.
Looking to see. Flying Low, I'm sorry, says, is Auburn going to avoid sanctions for basketball violations or not? Kind of a thorny question there, huh?
Well, they are definitely expecting to get something with NCAA.
Oh, yeah.
And if they get something in NCAA, the odds are probably that they'll get some more sanctions thrown on top of wherever they've done. Maybe not, but probably.
My gut feeling tells me, though, with Rich McGlynn on Auburn's team and has been on Auburn's team for a long time, that they will not face a lot of blowback because he is a guy who thinks like the NCAA, worked there for a long time.
Right.
And I don't think he would allow them to concede any points, so to speak.
Right, and they've already taken a lot of steps, suspending the players, taking coaches off the road during a certain period. I mean, they've done some things already. So,
Cleveland Brown asks, who do you think will get the most carries on Saturday?
well, DJ had 11, the most against Arkansas, so he's the best running back. I mean, how can he not have the most carries against LSU? To me, that is that shouldn't even be a question, but I understand why it is. But my guess is DJ.
I'm guessing Chipper is making a mention about Gulfport here. He says Island View or Beau Buffet. Did you say you were going to Beau Buffet?
Blowfly Inn in Gulfport.
Oh, okay. That's what he's talking about. My bad. Collins is talking about Blowfly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to give it a try.
Anyway, Island View or Beau Buffet. I don't know, man. All right, guys. Appreciate you being part of the show here, my friends on YouTube.
I think there may be like two of them in Gulfport. Maybe there's one on the Gulf and one in the closer to the town or something. I don't know.
There used to be a chick from the real world named Genesis who was from Gulfport. I liked her a lot.
Her name was Genesis?
Yeah, she's a lesbian, though, so I don't think I'd have had a shot at the time. Or now, but I don't know. I may have to Google that and see if she's cute now. I don't know.
Are you sure you didn't play her in like a video game and you're just thinking that she was real?
I'll send you a picture. I'll send you a picture.
All right.
All right, guys who are with us on YouTube, thank you for being part of the show. We're going to bounce now. Y'all be good out there. Peace.